So I wanted to make sure to give you another example here. We're going to go ahead and just use a homework problem for this one. So we've got problem number 16. So Sam is sitting in a boat on a lake. She can get burned by the sunlight that hits her directly and by sunlight that reflects off the water. So sunlight reflects off the water at a point 2,0 and hits Sam at the point 3.53. So we want to write and graph the function that shows the path of the sunlight. So if we think about the water, okay, the water is going to be here along our x-axis. So the sun is hitting the water at 0.20, that's going to be here, and it's hitting Sam at the point 3.5, so somewhere up here. So what this is telling me is that my vertex is at the 0.20, that's where it's reflecting off the water, and then I'm going to have another point that somewhere exists on my function, and it's going to be at 3.5. So again, in general, since we're not dealing with the horizontal dilation, we're going to say B is 1, so we're ignoring that aspect of it. So what we want to do, we want to create our function. So again, this is based on our vertex point, because this is telling us where we're moving horizontally and vertically, and then we'll have to solve for that vertical dilation aspect. So my function, I'm going to call it f of x. I don't know the a, that's what I'm looking for. Absolute value, I know my vertex is at to the right 2, so I'll have to do x minus 2, and then I'm not moving vertically. So in essence, that's my basic function. Now I can use this other point to solve for that a value. So this is my function. So when my x is 3.5, again, I'm using this point here now. When my input is 3.5, my output is 3. So f of x, that's the output, that's the y value, will be 3. You have your a, your input is 3.5. Oops, sorry, that should be absolute value. And now we can solve, okay? So if we solve inside of our absolute value, 3.5 minus 2 is 1.5. So 1.5 is positive, so it's going to stay positive. I'm going to go ahead and change it into a fraction, though, because that's going to help me when I solve for a. So 1.5, same thing as, again, 3 over 2. So if I want to solve for a, get a by itself, I have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So when I do that, I'll find then that a is 2. And now I can write my function. So my final function, f of x, is equal to 2. That's my vertical dilation, absolute value, x minus 2. So that is my function. Using that, you can go ahead and plug that into your calculator, and you should be able to find another coordinate there to finish off graphing your picture.